So the day is nearly here. All right. It's about what couple nights before the ass whooping, right?
It's the eve of the
Oklahoma,
eve.
Oklahoma, the vaunted
So
opponent.
who's getting the ass whooping though?
Well,
Well,
let's go ahead and take a look at this as I ask you the first question, which is, are we better than Tulane? Because Tulane hung 35 on them. It was 40-35. And to be honest, as you'll see here, Tulane loses a couple of three uh, turnovers. They lose three fumbles. The third one didn't matter because it was at the end of the half. But really, I mean, you could have argued if they could have protected the ball better, they could have easily beaten Oklahoma, and they go step for step with them in this game. So my question is Tulane that much better than us? Because Gary, I'm not looking or asking for us to win this game or blow them out or do anything crazy. I just don't want embarrassment. I will be so satisfied if we come within a couple of touchdowns, maybe 10 points, maybe 7. I'd be real excited. What do you think?
yeah, I mean the problem is, so a lot of people, especially around here, are talking about Nebraska going, losing that first game and then winning the next two. It's like, well, how much of that was first game? You're getting knocking rust off, you're doing whatever. First game in 2 years, having fans back, blah blah blah. I mean, it's the same way for these guys. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how good Tulane is. I don't know exactly how bad we are. But I do know that if and when the mental breakdowns and the shoot yourself in the foot stuff that we do always, every game always for coaches before Frost, this is the type of team that's going to make us look like Ohio State does when we play them and make those mistakes, and the Wisconsins and teams like that. So it's like I don't think there's a whole lot to compare. I didn't thoroughly watch this game. I watched basically the lineups, the formations, the base sets, and things like that. I didn't really pay attention to how often Tulane maybe did that, shot themselves in the foot, or if Oklahoma did. Honestly, I rarely watch the ball itself when I'm going back and looking at film stuff. I'm looking at front lines and things like that. So I don't know, man. As early as it is in the year, it's hard for me to decipher between who's having a slow start, who's not good, who is good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I do.
I know that didn't really answer your question, but I'm just saying I don't know. I mean, I don't think it matters because I think teams, talent wise and on paper, absolutely we're better than Tulane. But teams that are a lot worse than us beat us, and teams that are a lot worse than us play other teams and don't make the self sabotage mistakes that we make. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like,
Well, a lot worse than us. I mean, I would argue that. I know you're probably not too stuck, on that argument, but I wouldn't say Illinois was that much worse than us. They definitely have a coach, Brett Bielema, that just has our number and knows exactly how to beat Nebraska. Seems like he always has. We might as well try to get him to be our coach at some point if it doesn't work out with Frost. I'm hoping it does work out with Frost, but you know what I'm
but how
saying?
good are
Like,
these coaches that supposedly have our number if we beat ourselves? I mean, yeah, their team capitalizes on it. But I mean, how many of them we looked a while back and looked at the last few years against Iowa that are all within one possession, and we've had multiple bad penalties and bad spots, multiple turnovers to kill drives or to give them momentum before a half ends or different things like that. It's like, is Farron's in Iowa that much better than Frost in Nebraska? And every single Iowa fan or Nebraska hater right now is going, yeah, come on, you're living in the past. But I'm being honest, like if you, and you can't play hindsight and go back and eliminate mistakes after games. I get that. But it's not a secret. Everybody who loves us, everybody who hates us knows Nebraska does that. I mean, we used to be known when we were winning championships for running a power I option heavy offense. Now we're known as the team that will find a way to shoot themselves in the foot and lose a game. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's that common with us. So I'm just saying like if there was some way you could, you know how they like simulate games on PlayStation or something, if you could simulate these games that have been played, eliminate those big deals, like how much better would we be? How much better would we look?
As I watch these highlights of Tulane giving it to Oklahoma, the main thing that dawns on me here is that they are not scared of Oklahoma for whatever reason, whether or not it's their
Right.
coach instilling that in them, whether or not they just have some special talent that nobody knows they have, and so they have this swagger. They are not scared, and that is what the Huskers are going to have to be. We cannot look at them, whether it's true or not. We cannot look at them like they're the big brother, that they are the varsity team and we are JV. We can as a team cannot come with that mentality, or else they are going to boat race us. As you can see, Tulane does not have that mentality, and they caused them to drop from 3 to 2 to 3. I mean, they really come close to beating them, man. Like, I don't see why. I'm getting more and more sold. Okay, this is where I'm kind of embarrassed of where I'm going with this. Is I'm getting more and more sold that I think we could do a good job in this game and not embarrass ourselves and not lose by a lot.
Yeah, they absolutely could. They just haven't done anything in the past to show that they will. I mean, look how bad the record has been, and it's predominantly against unranked Big Ten teams. I don't hold the Big 12 in some high regard, but it's definitely a different style, and it's a top 3 team in the nation. I mean, the closest comparison we've had to the game we're going to have Saturday for everybody on that team is Ohio State. And look how those games have been going. You know what I mean? So it's like, and we don't know what we're going to get, if Betts is going to play, if Allen's going to play, or, yeah. Who's the other one? Omar Manning. We've got like 5 guys out. Both of our tight ends, 3 of our wide receivers, and maybe they play. I mean, Frost is always pretty tight. See, like that.
That was the second fumble. I know. So here's my main key for the game. We created some turnovers versus Buffalo. Now, of course, you're going to do that versus a lesser team. But we had a couple of good interceptions, maybe 3, if I'm not wrong. And that is what we're going to have to do against Oklahoma. We're going to and Rattler, this kid Rattler, I like him. He's got impressive feet. He's got a very live arm. He has some mechanical mistakes, and he will turn the ball over, dude. He is not above throwing picks. So if we can just create 2 or 3 opportunities, maybe 1 or 2 good opportunities, and capitalize, it can keep us in the game and keep it from getting out of hand. And that's all I'm really looking for.
If Nebraska doesn't do their typical 3 turnovers or 3 15-yard penalties on third downs, or, you know what I mean, negating big plays. I mean, if we get 2 or 3 big touchdowns called back, or we turn the ball over at the other end of the field, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I worry about, man. And from a matchup standpoint, I was during the game Saturday and later when we were talking, I'm just not impressed with our backfield, linebackers and DBs, in open field tackling. Like the one touchdown that Fordham had, he crossed like 3 guys' face, and I think Dismukes twice. If I remember right, it was Dismuke. Maybe it was Williams. But I don't know. These guys are going to be a lot more elusive in the open field than, obviously, the best players. I mean, Illinois was getting them with those, converted quarterbacks. But these guys are just going to be elusive, so guys can't be dicking around with over pursuing and getting their faces crossed up, and now you're completely out of the play before the dude even gets to top speed. Our offensive line is going to be, I think, just absolutely, like, I feel like it's going to be hard to watch. I hope I'm wrong, but these guys run like a 3-4 style with it, but they almost always have a 5th defensive back in there. So they're going to have a lot of speed on the defensive side. It's going to be a lot tougher for Martinez to just run when the pocket breaks down. They're going to be able to fire their. They'll be bringing linebackers. They'll be bringing the nickel. They'll be bringing safeties, everything up to add pressure on the deal. They'll probably try to contain him so they can shoot up inside the pocket. We just don't have the line to deal with that, especially against these guys. But I mean, we'll see. You know, if they're going to turn the corner, they got to turn it sometime. So, but I mean, I don't know.
I got another key for you. You love keys, don't you?
Love those keys.
Here's another spicy key. Our kicker, Culp, going up against a very good kicker. His name escapes me right now, but this kid has a cannon for a leg, and they are not scared to go to him. 50-some yards, they'll trot him right out there. We are not doing that with Culp. Culp has got to be on his game, or that's going to be one of those things that prevents us from doing anything special.
I feel it's more likely that Culp comes out and has 3 50-plus yard field goals than it is that the offensive line looks like an offensive line. You know what I mean? Like, Culp has shown what he can do and that he can get stuff done or whatever, but the offensive line hasn't, man. I'm hoping they prove me wrong.
I know that historically Culp has been great, but last week was just incredibly bad, man. Incredibly bad.
Who?
Culp. Yeah.
He didn't look good against didn't he miss one against Fordham too?
I think so.
I think he missed that extra point against Illinois and a field goal. Yeah, he hasn't had a game yet. But I mean, he was our best player last year, you know what I mean, for what that's worth. So I mean, I'm just saying he's done something to make me think, well, if he can just go back to doing what he's already done, it'd be golden. Like what we were saying about Martinez, if he starts tucking and running and quit being indecisive, he gets back to how he looked his freshman year, we'll be good. I don't have a complaint at all about Martinez the first 3 games. Yeah, he fumbled that ball against Illinois, things like that, but honestly, the pocket shouldn't have broke down as quick as it did. Yeah, he's got to protect it when he's coming through, but if his hands are that bad and he's that likely to drop the ball, then we should be lucky that he doesn't fumble more because he's always under pressure, like heavy pressure. So I
agree about Martinez, man. And when we started this channel, I thought to myself, I don't want to look too far into this whole Martinez thing because I'm scared of what I'll see. But it's turned out to be the other way. The further I've looked into Martinez and his play, the more I like him. And I am just renewed with hope for him that he can make it all the way to the NFL. And I know that sounds crazy to a lot of people, but this matchup is so big for him, man. He's coming off a couple of good games, yes, versus lesser teams, but still, we could have struggled against those teams. We're going up against a big-time opponent. A lot of eyeballs are going to be on Martinez this week. He's playing really good football. If he can continue that, it could catapult him into some sort of limelight that he has not really experienced yet. Is that far off?
Yeah, I think it's way far off, and I agree with. No, I mean, like, honestly, like, I'm just looking at, like, it's like we grew up playing basketball together, right? So it's like, I can't, like, the first time you hooped with Chris and I, right? You're what, 6, 7 years younger than us? So it's like you came out and obviously got murdered because we're all bigger than you. We played more years. We're stronger. We're faster. We just got more talent at that age gap. And then a week later being like, dude, Gabe could come out tomorrow and start just throwing himself lobs off the backboard, dunking on us, hitting turnaround fadeaway threes, crossing us up, doing this. And it's like, yeah, he could, but he has done nothing, and he hasn't built or developed any of the tools from where he's at now to where we say he could be to make us think he would get there. Like, Martinez doesn't sit back, read defenses, put a guy in motion to see if they're in man, call an audible, switch a route, give himself a quick hot route when he knows a blitz is coming, shift the line when he sees where the pressure, the stack is at. He's not that type of a quarterback. And
So
when
you
you're
haven't
not,
been seeing improvements in any of those
I've seen
categories?
improvements in him. But I'm saying, like, as far as developing into where, like, I'm such a good quarterback, I can make up for great deficiencies on my team and win games by myself. He can do that if the play breaks down and he runs. But that's really it.
Does he or
Because,
does he not have an NFL throwing motion?
no, I don't think he does at all. And he also doesn't, but it's, I don't get too excited about throwing motions. I mean, you
Does he
look at
have an
guys,
NFL body?
I don't know, man. I don't think he has the NFL mind. Like, I don't think he walks up to the line and goes, okay, this safety's bluffing. He's going to drop back into a cover. And this linebacker that's acting like he's in playing the nickel is going to come in this side. You know what I'm saying? And so when he comes, this safety that's going to have to come down and help, it's not going to be there in time. So I'm going to make sure he turns on like a 3-yard curl, and I'm going to hit him quick right over the blitz. You know what I mean? Like I don't see that happening. Maybe it's happening, but I'm just saying, like, if you're going to have a bad line to where as you're dropping back or as you're letting your receivers go because so much of it's out of the pistol or the shotgun, and you don't have time, you got to have the ball out. You have to have quick. You have to be able to adjust. I don't know that he has the freedom to adjust at the line, call audibles, move, shift routes, do whatever. I don't know, but I don't see that a lot, and I don't see him like reading defenses and knowing, okay, they're doing this, I'm going to do this. It's a lot of drop back and then see what develops and opens up, and then it's like, okay, shit, I got to go, or I can wait, go through my progressions if I actually have time. He's not going to have time against these guys, man. He's just not. Like, he didn't have time against. Go ahead.
Give me a betting prediction. You know, what's the line and what do you see happening?
What is the line? Wasn't it like 27 or something?
They're scheduled to beat us by 27.
I don't know. I'm looking.
Please don't say that's true. Please say psych.
Maybe it was 3 touchdowns. Maybe it's 22. I don't know. Hang on a minute. I'll look.
Well, I guess I'll give my naked prediction then, without knowing what the Vegas line is. I see it being a 17-point lead, somewhere around there.
It's 22 and a half. My bad.
22 and a half.
22 and a half right now.
I will be happy if we can keep it within 14. So, like, something
yeah, it'd be ecstatic.
Right? Oh, that hurts.
It's just not. It's not gonna happen, man. It's not gonna happen.
What do you think? Where are you gonna put your money?
Oklahoma and Nebraska is gonna lose by at least 30.
30?
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be bad, bro.
Wow. All right, you heard it here from our degenerate gambler Gary.
They're coming off of that ugly, sloppy win against Tulane, and then they played a horrible team that, yeah, they were supposed to beat. And as bad as Nebraska is, and as bad as everyone knows Nebraska is, it still has that name. So if they come out and beat us by 40 or 50 points, which I think they're very, very capable of doing, then now it's, even though they beat a bad Nebraska team, the drubbing will make people be like, equally back on the whole, get Martinez out of here, get Frost out of here, blah, 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 the way it was after the Illinois week. And then back to Oklahoma's definitely going to be in the playoff with Alabama. Who are the other two teams going to be? Like, that's the narrative you're going to hear.
I remain hopeful.
I'm always hopeful, man, but I'm always realistic.
I think that we can stick around, you know? And maybe only lose by like 17, 14 points. And have people thinking,
very happy.
Yeah, the Huskers might be back on track. Huh?
Maybe.
If Tulane can come within 5, I think we can come within 17.
All right. We'll see.
That's what I'm sticking with. All right.